My name is Cree. I think I know mainly everyone in this room, but yes, I'm Cree. I'm a breathwork facilitator. I also have some background in media. And so, I wanted to start this project because I really want spaces to be intentional about like imagining and dreaming and really doing that work to get to like the future that we want to get to, where it's more caring, more loving, and that's at the center. And so, I've been wanting to just interview people that I feel like are builders and doing things differently or intentionally. And so, Dom, when we have had our conversations, that's what you do. I love how you move. I just feel like you are a builder. You like to connect community. And even when we talked a few weeks ago and had like kind of a mock interview, there was just a lot of gems that I feel like people could take from your story. And I'm excited to get into it. I feel like our first episode in this series was with Rachel, who is also here. She is a womb healer. So we talked about just womb healing and what that means to really prioritize that and how that could help us build this world that we see for ourselves. And so I really been picking topics that I'm also like passionate about. And so I feel like the topic of Black men, like in centering you guys in a conversation, I hope that it's seen as an act of love, because I feel like you guys are deserving of having these conversations where love is at the front of it. And we're seeing how we could reflect together and what you guys can do and continue to do and how we could support you guys in building this future, because you guys are very powerful, you know? So I just feel like this is an act of love, and I hope it feels that way. Yeah, but we are going to get into it.
Let's get into it.
Yes. Hi, Dom.
What's going on, Cree?
Do you want to talk a little bit about yourself? Tell people who you are.
A little bit.
Yes, what you do. And these mics, guys, just so you know, they're for the recorder. So we're going to have to enunciate. So, just let us use these, but don't expect any sound to come out.
That was her reminding me that I had to enunciate. I'm real soft-spoken, so I got to talk now.
Yes, thank you, Dom.
All right, cool. A little bit about myself. So my friends call me Dom. My mom called me Dominique Lavel. In the community as well as within, you want to say the workspace, they call me Dr. Dom. I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia. I moved out to Los Angeles 2016 to pursue my PhD in business psychology with an emphasis in consulting. I wrapped that audacious degree up around 2020, top of 2021 during the pandemic, and immediately went to executive coaching, training and development, learning development, and all things involving people, right? I think that's where my passion lies. And things that I do there, things that I do within the community is all an intersection of myself and how can I serve people? How can I be a better servant? I hate that word because it has like a negative connotation at times, but basically how can I give more than I receive? Even within consulting and coaching, it's all about value. How can I give more value? So I take that same philosophy and I apply it to all aspects, whether it's relationships, whether it's friendships, is how can this be a mutual exchange of value? So.
Thank you. And I also want to show that these are from your juice company.
Oh, yeah.
We have these just for a visual. Get it in your mind, guys. Okay, let's support Dom.
I'll speak more about that.
Yes. Do you want to speak more about it?
No, I'll speak more later on.
Okay. I wanted to ask you what, and we talked about this a little bit a few weeks ago, but what drives you? What do you feel like drives you to do the work that you do?
Yeah, I think what drives me, let me remove that passive language. What drives me most is how can I give back to, little Dominique? A lot of the times, and it's kind of a buzzword now of, childhood, how that childhood integration is associated with adulthood, how you show up or don't show up. But I think when I look at me as a child, just being passive, being overlooked, I grew up in a single parent household. Me and my mom, my younger brother has autism, and just seeing the different stereotypes of young Black male raised in a household that was, thrown by a woman. And the negative things, it was always, you're not man enough, you will never be to this point. And it kind of forces you to align with traditional masculinity, whether it's from sports, playing football. I hate that shit, honestly. I never really liked football. I like boxing. I used to always want to box my mom, being a mom. Nobody go hit my baby. Nobody go do these things. So, like I said, so I could form to those things. Or when it came to music was my big outlet. My mom was a big music connoisseur, but anything that she was going through, I had to go through. So imagine being 9, 10, your mom just in the living room listening to Jill Scott, or on a Sunday, throwing on Waiting to Exhale. You want to look at, Players Club or some shit, but she throwing on waiting to exhale, and you gotta be that. And it's never really discussed at times that when you're growing up in these, households, single parenthood, you're not just your mom's child. Like, you kind of subconsciously become her boyfriend, her partner, the man in the house. You just become all these different titles, and it kind of can subdue you a little bit when you go into the community, because you're like, how do I show up? Because I'm not the hyper masculine male. Like, what do I supposed to do? So, owning that and honoring that into the workplace is allowed me to be like, okay, what does little Dominique want to do? Like, how does he want to be showing up within this space? And that's always how I envision. So even when we were doing breath work right now, that's what I was envisioning, like little Dominique interviewing me. So,
thank you for sharing that. I want to ask, I guess, how, as little Dominique has evolved to big Dominique, how has your relationship to like your identity as a Black man influenced your leadership, how you relate to power? Yeah, just in that way.
Yeah, I've owned it now.
Yeah.
Right. I think when I was younger, I was told I was too sensitive, for crying over regular shit. Like, you getting hit in the head or some shit, right? You too sensitive for that. You listen to music. You too sensitive for that. As I got older, I remember somebody telling me, this was when Mama Shelter was still open, and I had on a pink Nike pullover, and I was drinking sangria rather than drinking Hennessy and stuff like that. And it was like, man, get that man over there a beer. He over there got a pink shirt on, and he drinking sangria. And I used to be like, what the hell is wrong with this? But as I got older, right, like, what's wrong with that? Even from the textures and things I wear, like, as I got older, I'm like, oh, like, no, this is me. When I was young, I was that. When I was young, I allowed my imagination to create all these different stories. Some good, some bad, some positive, but I allowed that to drive me, and then some way, shape, or form during like middle school, high school, it got stifled. And I kind of conformed to the traditional aspects of community. And now how it shows up is like, I really don't care. Like, how I talk, how I dress. You may see me dressed like this one day, but then you may see me with my goals the next day. You may see me with my oversized clothes one day, but then you may see me with a suit. Like, I don't have to be what you want me to be. And I've owned that now. When people talk to me, I'm like, no, this is how I am. If you come to my place and you see my stuff, my friends laugh. We just had a conversation. That's my closest friend over there, Marvell.
Hi, Marvell. Shout out.
We had something at my house recently, and there was some people was clowning me because I had a pink couch. And I'm like, no, this kind of player. I like my pink couch. It's pink velvet. It's a nice size.
It's interesting because what you're saying, like, it just sounds like, and I mean, this is a common experience, but Black men are often like in a box. Like, there's limitations, it seems like, for you guys to be able to express yourselves fully and like expansively.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, what? Well, that's two parts. So at what point did you really make that conscious switch to be like, I don't care? Like, were there things that supported you in getting to that like part of your journey where it's like, I'm confident in who I am because this is my identity, So that's the first question. So I'll leave it there right now.
This year?
Yeah. This year?
It was January.
Really?
It was January.
And how old are you? If you don't mind me asking. You give me a range.
January, how old was I?
Sure.
January, I was 33. I
33.
turned 34 in May.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So early 30s is when you feel like you're really like confident for you and who you are. Yeah.
Because you kind of get to a point where you like, am I going to allow this to keep stopping me? Like, this has been a reoccurring theme. Like, I know how things were when I was 11. I know how things were when I was 15, 21, 25. Like, I know these things. And it's like, this shit not stopping. Right? So either you go own it or you go allow people to steer you. Right? And then when you become a reflection of their, thoughts, then you lose you.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where it really came. And then it came to play recently. I'll share a story. Last week I went to Davenport. Y'all familiar with Davenport? Yeah. I was in. A lot of people don't know. I was in Davenport. I was at a company retreat, and I had a dream that I died. And and through that, like, I don't know what the hell I was doing, but I got shot in the neck.
Oh my goodness.
And my 3 questions that I was dying, I was like, can I at least call my mom? Because that's the only person that's my emergency contact. Y'all still at 34. And I'm like, can I call my mom? And he was like, yeah. The guy who shot me was like, yeah. And I put on my mom, and I remember calling my mom, and I was like, Mom dying, I got shot in the neck. And she was like, now you're never going to be what you wanted to be. Then the second one was, but what about your brother? And then the third question, she said, well, what about your bills now? And I said, I'm dying and you worried about my bills? And then I woke up like gasping for air, right? And I disclosed it with the people there. I leaned on ChatGPT too. Just doing this whole dream analysis interpretation, and it was just talking about like the depth of the old Dominique, and and allowing myself to be who I've always been, who I've allowed different things to stifle me, take me away from the road, so on and so forth. And what you gonna do? So I think between January and up until last week, I just been real. This is what it is.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
And that dream is interesting because it like makes me feel, I don't know, like a lot of times that's the drive to, because we are in survival mode. So to get money, to get the bills paid, like that is a drive. That's like the center of life, right? Is getting money. I want to talk more about like wellness in that. Like what is Black men and wellness, when those two words come together, like what is that? What comes to your mind? How do you relate to wellness?
I define Black men and wellness as safety. And not in the traditional aspect. Sometimes we associate wellness strictly in these times with like yoga, breathwork, so on and so forth. But I associate it with, how do you talk to yourself? The community that you're in, do they give you, the reality of the situation?
Yeah.
Or do they feed into your ego? Of course, what are you eating? What are you consuming on media? Like, I think everything we do is wellness and help us. Is either going to take us to the next level or stifle us, right? Even coming here, I appreciate you all for coming here, but I really have gotten to the study of like quantum leaps, and I think that's where we are. Like every day you got a choice, every second you have a choice. If you make this decision, this will go here, and then now you at another road, so on and so forth. And I look at wellness like that as well. It's like, okay, you go home, you turn on whatever you want to turn on. Like now you spend 2-3 hours on that. Did that feed you? Or if it did, how did it feed you? And can it get you to the next level, or it's going to keep you here? Same thing will be working out. You joke when I told you I worked out 3 times a day.
I did. Because it's impressive, not because I was making fun of you. But yeah.
But it's just all these different compilation of things that I think at times Black men don't look at when it comes to wellness. It's like, it's really a lifestyle. So how can you ingrain it in everything you do?
I feel like that's a perfect like segue to your lifestyle brand that you've created. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and what like caused you to start this?
Yeah. So hey everyone. So this is Black of the Berry. It started off as Black of the Berry Juicery. So it started off strictly just juices. I used to define it as a plant-based social justice concept because when I moved out here, I kind of had a lot of survivor's remorse. A lot of my family, a lot of my friends are either dead or in jail. And the ones that were in jail will always complain, of course, about the food. So I had this erratic idea. I said, I'm going to change the food system and the prison system. Then realize how much I need to do to change that. Because when I was young, I did define one of my biggest goals to win the Nobel Peace Prize. So I said, this is how I'm going to do it. As time has evolved, it's become an intersection of wellness, media, and culture. I like to define it simply as that I'm building a Black Disney. So the juices were like a gateway entry and an extension of my imagination that ties into our apparel, so the hoodies and the custom bamboo earrings that ties into a comic book that I'm releasing soon. The comic book ties into a podcast. The podcast ties it to film. So it's just this big universe that I'm creating that I also understand is I'm probably not going to see the big fruits of the labor, but as long as I can plant the seeds and even see the tree, at least one tree, I can see what's going to continue on. So,
Thank you for sharing.
It's all organic, y'all, and all hand cold pressed 5 to 7 day shelf life. You can meet me at the Inglewood Farmers Market if y'all want to every Saturday 9 to 1. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, and we'll share his Instagram afterward too. You guys can follow him in Black of the Berry. I'm just gonna sit with that for a moment. Yeah. I guess I want to start going into like how you've created this brand, and so you're an entrepreneur, and you're also a coach. And so like, how do you navigate, and you talked a little bit about like ego and that coming up a lot. And I feel like that's a barrier at times that goes into the ways that I feel like sometimes Black men are boxed in. ego can be very big and sometimes challenging to get over. And so I'm curious how you have worked on your ego and like evolving from that space of maybe letting it drive you, and like, yeah, how do you navigate that with others too as you are on your entrepreneur journey?
Yeah. It's extremely difficult. I
Yeah.
promise you. My closest friends know this. It's extremely difficult for me. Um, but how I do it for the most part is like it's bigger than me. I think sometimes ego is driven from a singular mindset of, oh, this is affecting me, or it's not. I'm not getting what I feel like I need to get in this moment. But if you can kind of take yourself out of it, kind of look at yourself from 50,000 feet up, and you see the bigger picture, it's like, oh, this. I'm just a vessel to this, right? It's going to be other people within this. And from knowing that, I'm able to process things that have a more so collaborative mindset. So with Black of the Berry, I have no problem. Like, I'll do a partnership with someone. I don't have to create it. It's something that I've defined and understand through coaching. It's like strategic partnerships in the workplace. Like, you don't have to own everything. Because honestly, when you own something, it's a lot, right? If I sit there and I say, hey, right now, shout out to Keep It 100, the run club. If I say I'm gonna start a run club, that's something I have to do consistently. Or I could say, hey, can we partner right now on this event, one or two events, and I can lighten the load. But now we can have this high level overview on how can I take the next step. Like, I don't ever want to be the master in the room, even though I'm very knowledgeable. I want to have mastery, but I don't want to be the master. So understanding that when I get around men, it's like, okay, my ego is already checked because I'm not coming in here to compete with you. I'm coming in here to collaborate with you and kind of honestly throw you over the fence with hopes too that when I put my leg on the fence, you'll pull me over there too. Does it happen like that sometimes? No. If we're being completely honest. Sometimes it's, hey, you help throw me over there, now I'm about to go run and achieve. But that's where, altruism comes in. Like, why did you do this? Did you do this to get something back, or did you just do it just to help? And that kind of ties into coaching as well. For the most part, it is transactional when I get, payments, but I understand that I'm feeding into them. They need assistance from me. But from the development components, everything I tell them and speak to them about is how can you also make sure that your cup is full. So doing things like this, going to the gym 3 times. I watch a lot of Disney. I ain't gonna hold you. I probably watch Princess and the Frog tonight. So that's how I decompress.
Yes.
That's me pouring into myself and pouring
Yeah.
to, little Dominique. So that's how I'm able to check it as well. So
Thank you.
and self-reflection.
Self-reflection.
You gotta do a lot of self-reflection. I go to the beach a lot. I go to Bruce's Beach a lot, just relaxing. I go to sleeping parks, and that helps me, show up and kind of like my power up pill. So
Self-reflection. Is there room for like also other like people in your circle to hold you accountable? Like, is that
they
something
do.
that you feel they do? Yeah.
They do.
Would you say that's a priority within your friendships, like with Black men?
Now it's a priority for
Yeah.
me now. I think before when I was younger, we always want somebody to say yes, like tell me that I'm not tripping. No, sometimes you need to hear you tripping. Sometimes you need to hear, you need to keep going. Sometimes you need to hear you need to stop, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because I would want someone else to feel the same way about me if they come to me, like, please tell me if I'm wrong. And I'm going to tell you if you're wrong, right? And then I think that's where if you can subdue the ego and now we have this even playing field, that's how you can kind of elevate as well, where it's like, dang, I didn't think about that. I think we all need to have, like, a friend, family member, AI, whatever the case may be, to lean on, to converse and to basically thought dump, right? Thought and action dump, because a lot of things we do wrong, but there's a lot of things we do right, and sometimes we do need that double check.
Thank you for that. Sorry, I'm comfortable with silence, guys. I hope you guys are too at times. We're going to be a little silent. Yeah, I guess kind of tying into that and the accountability part. Do you feel like there's other maybe things within like the system or culture that we need to unlearn to help, I guess, uplift Black men, maybe that Black men need to unlearn as well? Yeah, like what are your thoughts on that? Like any values or, just thoughts?
Yeah, I think I kind of spoke to it a little bit. I think Black men, need to collaborate more amongst one another. I think when I come into spaces, a lot of times it's compete, warrior mode. who is this? I have to be better than him. It was honestly just spoke about recently on a Gilly podcast with Joy Badass. I'm not sure if you all heard it, but Gilly was like, "Hey, I'm not going to. If I see somebody doing better than me, or if I see a kid that has the potential that he could take my spot, I would not put him in the space." And Joy Badass was like, "Well, that's kind of counterintuitive. If you supposed to, this supposed to go on after us, and we supposed to be, the OGs or whatever the case may be. Why wouldn't you put him in the spot because you're afraid?" I think that's one of the biggest things is, how can we check that ego and collaborate more?
Yeah.
I think also one of the things is how can we just be still, right? We live in a place in a mode where it's always like hustle, 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 grind, grind, grind. And sometimes being still is the grind. It allows you to refine. It allows you to really open up different chambers in your mind that can help you get to the next level. I always tell a lot of my clients who have this same mindset and friends that have the same mindset, I'm like, man, every day you're trying to get $20,000, right? Every day, 30 days you're doing something, so on and so forth. But if you focused on one thing, it's easy to get one $20,000 check as opposed to getting two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, $10,000 checks or $2,000 checks to equate to that 20,000, right? So I think that's where the level of mastery and focus comes in, right? Of breaking these systems down. Of consistency, yes, but focus and precision is gonna get you further than anything, right? How can you hit the same thing every time as opposed to just hitting this board, right? And that's where I align my mindset at right now. How can I just keep hitting this same space? And that's my metric of success.
Thank you for sharing that. This you kind of answered it, but I guess I want to make sure that you feel fully clear with it. But if you were to like radically reimagine like what leadership and power is, like for Black men, like what values or practices would you center?
I would say it sound bad, but I would say being soft, and soft meaning just more like being in tune. I think a lot of times, and I speak about the traditional Black man, not the current state. I think a lot of times it's just very hoorah, look at me, I chop wood. I'm Popeye, so on and so forth, and that may work, for whatever depending on ecosystem that you're in. But I think if you can be like kinder and softer. Softer doesn't mean like weak. It just means that, hey, I can take this a notch down and still get the same results, right? As opposed to let me stay right here. Let me show and demonstrate my authority. It's too much authority and not enough like empathy. So if you can be more, if redefining and making it more radical and stuff like that, it's just being more empathetic and understanding people and asking open-ended questions, making people feel seen, right? I think that's really the key. How can you make people feel seen? How can you display more empathy? And how can you be more softer, but still with the mindset of, I'm going to achieve this goal, right? I think those are the top three.
Thank you for that. Okay, I have a few more things before we officially close. I guess going off of that, is there, and I've kind of asked this a little bit before, but like, are there any specific ways that you feel like people that are wanting to maybe uplift Black men, allies, sisters, brothers, how can we support you guys as well, like in this evolution?
So you all familiar with Walk Good? They have, the Black Man Healing Circle. I've been to a few of those, more so in the past, but I know they have it more consistently now. I think getting in those spaces as well. What helped me a lot is honestly getting around more men. I grew up around speak about warrior like women. Like just imagine being this one kid around 12, 13 women, and that's where a lot of my leadership came around up until my 30s. So understanding, we could do things differently. So putting myself out there was a big thing. I was also a part of the Giants Den. So it's this guy named Devontae Green, Inglewood based. He actually did a TEDx Inglewood talk 2 years ago. He created this organization called the Giants Den. and it's centered around, that philosophy of iron sharpens iron and creating a safe space. I think that's one of the biggest things is psychological safety. A lot of men um, they don't feel safe enough to like cry in front of the man. They're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna get out the phone, shit. I'll holler at you later. Right? They're not vulnerable enough to disclose like, hey, my finances is not right, because being a man means your finances would never be mishandled, right? So being in front of the Giants then kind of showed me that, oh no, I can be that way. I can tell y'all like I'm messed up right now. I ain't going out with y'all to the bar, right? But I also can tell them what my highs and lows is. I think that's sometimes the whole meaning of life is how can you interact with people and hold on to people who can be there through your toughest times, but also uplift you even if you are at your most high times, right? Not just utilizing interchangeably. So, but Eventbrite, meetups, Join Links, that's a new app that just came out, spearheaded by a black man, young black man. All of these things are there to help out. And if they're not, I would love to always have a discussion, how can it be created, right? I think we're in the age of women, meaning over the past 10 years, women love women. I see so many women circles, women empowerment, breakfast, brunch. Sometimes they don't be empowering shit. They just be talking, right?
It's still empowering.
But that community is that sisterly love is what's needed, and empowerment sometimes is what's taken after that, right? And what's implemented in the world. Like, damn, you feel better, right? And it's the same thing that I would want men to do. I recently came from the Waymaker Men Summit. I'm not sure how many men knew about this. It was during BET weekend. It was at the Solar Beehive, but it was a conference, free conference, just solely dedicated to uplifting men. So they were giving out free facials, free haircuts, free manicures, free pedicures. No women were allowed. If they were, they had to look at the conference from like, if this was the main room, they had to really be in the side room. It was really a space to uplift men. I would say next year, it's based in Chicago. This was their first time doing it in LA, but I would say definitely look into that as well. If you are looking to, expand community and get around, a safe space for men. So.
Are there any other like rituals or practices that keep you grounded that, may be helpful to share?
I own my balance. So when I say own my balance, honestly, before even coming over here, I was listening to Word is Bond by 702. And then I switched that joint and I played my Shy Glizzy. And then I switched that and I played my Gucci Mane. Like, I just own all those different aspects of me now, right? That allows me to show up there. And that's what Dominique Lavel as a brand is. That's what Black of the Berry is. It's really just a big immersive experience of all things that kind of go within me, right? I've never been a fan of just being one thing, but I do respect and own that. But I believe, you can love sunflowers and shoot guns, right? You can, right? You can, listen to Solange, but then, go drink a beer, right? The world doesn't have to be binary.
Like black or white.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be you are a woman if you do this, you are a man if you don't do this. Like, nigga, go and get in the garden, right?
Yeah.
I clean one corner of my house, and I said, I don't understand how a man will ever want a woman to just cook and clean, because I am tired, right? But it's those different things. It's like just putting yourself out there. I do Pilates, right? Mat Pilates and Reformer. I do yoga, hot yoga and regular yoga. I do things that make me feel good. And I think we should do more things that make you feel good without the constraints of society.
Yeah. Prioritizing that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. We're going to close soon with some takeaways and just give you space to talk about what you're currently dreaming into being. But I do want to open it up. I always like to do just a Q&A for a few minutes if anyone wants to have something they want to share, a question they want to ask. Anything really. And again, I'm comfortable with silence, so I'll be here for a minute.
More business deals get closed with silence.
Really?
Yeah, so...
A takeaway, guys. More business deals get closed with silence.
Yes, in Japan. So in Japan, they actually do about like 8 seconds of silence before even responding back.
Oh.
And it allows them to allow lot of other parties feel seen and clear, and you're like, damn, you're not responding. I mean, you're not hearing me to respond.
Yeah.
Whereas opposed to Americans, I was just like 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, because we got to fill the
yeah,
noise.
fill the
Yeah.
void. No,
Yeah.
so definitely, y'all could take 8 seconds or more.
Love that. Yes. All right. So we're going to close with just takeaways that you want to share. So for each conversation in this series, I want to prioritize you guys having some takeaways to take away with. So we're going to do that. And then, yeah, share what you got going on, what you're currently dreaming into being. And then afterward, we're going to have Darian, DJ Black Butterfly, get back on the ones and twos. There's food in here. There's tea. There's a survey, too, that I would love for you guys to take as I'm continuing to just experiment with this project. I just want to get people's feedback, so that's important. And there's also like reflection questions. If you guys want to scan the QR code, you could talk amongst yourselves for those or with those questions, or with whatever comes to your mind. But yeah, those are my end of the, I guess, a church of announcements. Yeah. All right. But Doc, what are your takeaways?
Based off of what you.
Yeah, but based off of this conversation, maybe like what. And it could be something that you already said, but if there's anything that you really want people to stay with as they leave, or something that you said to stay with them, yeah, this is the space to share that.
Okay. What would I want you all to think? Sorry, I had wrote this one down because Cree told me so. Never mind if I look at my phone.
Please, I've been looking at this paper. Yeah.
Questions to sit with.
Takeaways, yes.
I think a question to sit with, I would want people to ask themselves, whether it's daily, whether it's now, after, so on and so forth, is how can I lead from a place of clarity and healing and not hurt? I think at times it's easy to utilize hurt as the main form of disruption, right? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, this person hurt me, so I'm going to do this. This job hurt me, I'm going to do this. This person ran me off the road, I'm going to do this. Like, that's going to be the motivating factor. But in reality, that eventually burns out. That hurt eventually burns out. You don't want to be hurt over some shit that happened 15 years ago. Unless it really, did some detrimental things as far as family dynamics and so on and so forth. But with even in that, you want to place the roadblocks and the steps. So I would say that clarity over hurt. I would say my other one, sorry, y'all.
No, sorry, needed.
Reflective practice. I know. I want to make sure it don't seem too professional looking at your phone.
You know
right?
what? We're all family here. Yeah.
I've been up this morning, so I drive. Reflective practice. Checking in and asking, what am I carrying that isn't mine?
That's really good.
And give yourself permission to put down what doesn't serve you. When I was at the Waymakers Men Summit, I was getting a fade, and that's my signature haircut, y'all. I was getting a fade. And the guy was like, I don't know why, but for some reason I feel like I need to tell you that that's not your choice. Like, that's not for you to do. And I was like, what are you talking about? He said, you don't have to do that for people. And I'm still like, you talking so broad. Like, what are you saying? He's like, it's not your job. It's not your job. You can take that however you want to take it, but it's not your job. And I remember sitting with it. I was like, damn. Because I have taken on that, right? When you think of not just growing up in a single-parent household, you think about even leadership within the workspace or even in the entrepreneur space. You think of it like, damn, I have to be everything to everyone at all times. But you don't, right? You don't. It's okay to be a good communicator, but a bad cook, right? It's okay to be good at running the mile, but not good sprinter. Like, you can be these things. That's the duality. And if we're looking at a big Venn diagram, that's the middle aspect of life, right? So I would say that. And my final one, just because we got a level of comfort now, and I can pull it up right here. For men and women, because I know a lot of times women get called from it, meaning being called soft, right? For men and women, I would say Softness is not a weakness, and your care is not compromised. Healing is not selfish, and you are allowed to be whole. And whole is whatever you define it to be, right? You don't have to say, all right, I'll be caring right now, so because I'll be caring, I can't have this. No, all of that is intertwined. And when you operate from a place of compassion, empathy, so on and so forth, everything else just kind of blooms and blossoms and dies away, right? It's kind of like a weed, right? That you can kill that off, but in the other aspects of life, blossom on. So, but you got to know what you want to blossom. And I think sometimes we don't. I think even with me, it's very reactive. This happened, so now I'm going to do this. It's like, no, how can I be this way at all times, be unshakable and movable? Because I'm defining my story. And I think once you define your story, at least with the prompts and reflective question I gave you, everything else will, come in alignment. So.
Thank you. Those are very thoughtful takeaways. And I'll make sure I'm going to get them from you, and I'll post them on my page too, so we have them. But yeah, thank you for that. Well, before we officially close, what do you have going on? What do you want people to know? What are you currently dreaming into being? You talked to us about your film.
Yeah.
What else?
Currently dreaming. So the comic book, it's called Berries and Honey. Releasing it next month. Woo. It may come out in September, depending on production right now. But I wrote it in 2022. I've just been sitting on it, and I was like, I think it's time. So it's centered around, social justice, and it's like Marvel meets social justice. A lot of the characters in there are created based off of people that I met when I moved out of here in Inglewood and South Central. And yeah, it's all ties, and it's a big think tank, right, to everything that I've created. So in the comic book, you're going to see the juices. You're going to see this bike club that I'm creating. You're going to see a restaurant in there. You're going to see everything that's like from the world and mind of Dominique Lavel. So that's my biggest thing. On the 20th, I'm doing a intimate dinner. That's what the juices are being paired with the cuisine. So it's called No To Go boxes. So that'll be July 20th. It'll be Caribbean themed. So we're gonna have Caribbean jerk, mushrooms, plantains, rice and peas, cabbage. But the juices will be paired with that. We also will have some nice cookies and desserts as well. Nice. All made within the home. This first one is vegan, but all of them won't be vegan. So I know some people eyebrows raised when those things come up. But yeah, those are the things that I'm coming about. Just trying to, again, cater and nurture to all aspects of me. So
yeah, nice. Well, thank you, Dom. Thank you for this conversation very much. Thank you guys for being here and just listening. And sorry that this is cracking, but let's take a collective inhale and exhale together to officially seal this conversation. So let's inhale together. And slow exhale. That was nice. All right. We are going to have DJ Black Butterfly get back on the ones and twos. And yeah, you guys feel free to vibe, hang out, leave when you feel led. Talk to Dom a little more if you want. Get his information so you can go to these events coming up. And yeah, thank you again for being here, guys. Woo!
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I'm the president of the Black Professionals Network out here. So if you all looking to get around a space of professional or personal development, definitely love to talk to you, figure out how we can be a service to you. So.
And you know what? I do this at the beginning of my sessions, and I didn't today, but let's do it now. I just want everyone to go around and say their name. We can start with you, Amari.
I'm Amari.
Leon.
He's also a doctor. My name's Rachel. Yeah.
Troy.
Marvell.
Jawan.
Darian.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Now we're officially family.